Welcome back, everyone. This is Dave from Corn Productions, here to show no mercy towards Cobra Kai, Season 3, Episode 1, titled Aftermath. Last season ended in a huge school brawl between Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai that resulted in Miguel getting kicked off a balcony after showing Robbie mercy and ending up clinging to life. Robbie was on the run. Cobra Kai was stolen from Johnny by John Kreese, feeling responsible for what happened at the school and what happened to his student Miguel. We find Johnny at his lowest point as he throws his phone into the sand at a beach and leaves his car behind. Danielle, too, feels responsible for what happened at the school and is told by his wife, no more karate, because their daughter, Sam, was injured during the fight. We open an announcer for the karate tournament, announcing Miguel returning to fight for his championship. The actor playing Miguel is played by Xolo Maridueña, and by the way, I practiced that. At first, we are thinking that this is a dream sequence of some type, while Miguel is in the coma. As it turns out, it's a metaphor for Miguel fighting to stay alive. He is literally fighting death. We get a brief flash of Miguel falling out the balcony, and then we are in the hospital. Miguel is in a coma. He's got a crazy neck contraption on him, as well as a breathing tube. We hear the voice of a newscaster who we eventually cut to. It's been 2 weeks since an all-out violent karate riot, and I'm not entirely sure that I'm supposed to be taking this newscast seriously. One mother is worried about karate gangs roaming the schools. Another man thought that the karate went out in the 80s. We see a Moon cameo who's organizing a rally for peace. Moon is played by Hannah Keppel, who in real life is dating Xolo Maridueña. Hannah is relatively new to the acting scene. She only has 3 credits to her name. We cut from the newscasting footage to some type of chain restaurant. It looks like it's called Frankie O's. And the waitstaff is concerned about a malcontent who's still here after 4 hours, and he's starting to creep out the customers. We cut to a shot of Johnny, very much out of focus, but we know who it is. The bartender, I guess that's what she is, gave Johnny the bill 2 drinks ago, but he's refusing to pay because he didn't order Coors Light. He ordered Coors Banquet. The male says that he'll take care of it, and he approaches Johnny. When we finally get a clear shot of Johnny, he's not looking too good. He looks like he hasn't shaved or bathed in quite a while. The male bartender says to him, "It's time to settle up your account and leave." Well, we know how this is gonna go, right? Johnny's response? "Light beer is for pussies." Don't get mad at me, I'm just quoting the character. The male bartender asks, "Do I have to call the cops?" And Johnny says, "I don't know. Do you?" The male bartender takes off. I don't know if he's going to call the cops or not, honestly. On the news, Robbie Keene is being looked for, and that draws Johnny's interest, because that, of course, is Johnny's son. They start to talk about Miguel, and then 2 other people in the bar change the channel. Johnny objects, saying he was watching that. But the guy at the bar doesn't seem to care. Johnny gets up, trying to be intimidating, and tells the man, "Change the channel." But this falls on deaf ears, and we're wondering, is Johnny gonna throw down right now? Not quite. After the game ends, the two guys drop the remote and walk out of the bar. And then we see him in the parking lot. Oh, we know Johnny's not gonna let them get away with that. Suddenly, Johnny breaks the guy's window and drags the guy out. His friend asks as he gets out of the car, "What are you doing? What do you think you're doing?" And Johnny says, "Kicking your ass." Just before he himself starts getting his ass kicked and ends up getting a foot to the face and then arrested. I guess when you're this drunk, your powers are not with you. You're a mortal man. Cut to Daniel and his wife Amanda arriving at the school, Amanda is complaining that her daughter was suspended and she's going to tell the school board that they're incompetent. And Daniel says, "Well, at least they expelled the girl who started the fight." And Amanda comes back with, "Expelled? She should be in Shawshank." Shawshank is not a real prison, by the way. It was seen in the Stephen King adapted movie, The Shawshank Redemption. And even if it were real, it wouldn't be a good idea to send her to that. Andy, after all, got out of that prison with relative ease, unless they've, cleared up the loopholes by now. Alright, thinking back on that movie, I don't think Andy got out quite that easily, but still, I bet Tori could do it. Amanda, for the record, is played by Courtney Hengliner, and she doesn't know it yet, but she has a destiny to eventually be my wife. Amanda feels that everybody is against them. The dealership has been a ghost town. Their business is in trouble. Danielle tries to say that it's not that bad, but Amanda is basically like, yes it is. Their name is poison. As it turns out, kicking the competition isn't a very cute slogan when a member of your dojo literally kicks somebody over a balcony. At Daniel's crestfallen expression, Amanda apologizes and says that she's a little on edge. But he says no. I got us into this, and I will get us out. Well, as of right now, Daniel, I'm not totally sold on that. Maybe you convinced your wife, but you didn't convince me. They are arriving at a PTA meeting, which is hosted by the same principal that we saw in the finale. I'm not sure if we saw him in any other episodes, I don't recall. And things get ugly in a hurry. One of the audience members asks, "Where the heck were the teachers?" Good question. And apparently, the teachers are not allowed to intervene when two students are fighting. But what about that security guy? Well, he was never officially hired, and currently, he's not allowed 500 feet within children. And that explains Stingray's absence during this season. I didn't hate the character, but I'm not that upset by his absence. Another parent asks, "How do we know this isn't going to happen again?" And Counselor Blatt announces that they have a new initiative, Hugs, Not Hits. One of the parents asks, "You're going to hug the kids?" Well, no, the kids are supposed to hug each other. Yeah, let's see how that goes. The principal interjects and says, what she's trying to say is no more karate, a zero tolerance policy against it. Daniel has decided to speak up. Okay, look, let's not footloose karate. Karate is not the problem. And he goes on to talk about how, in his day, he was bullied. And a guy from the back says, "Yeah, whatever, Will Russo, you were the real bully," which is a nice little reference to the YouTube video. that made the case that Daniel was the real bully. And I believe that was also in How I Met Your Mother, when William Zabaka and Ralph Macchio guest starred. Cute little reference there. They keep trying to talk, Daniel mainly, but it's pretty clear they're not winning anybody over. And it appears like Amanda is right. The people are against them. They both sit in their seats and looked a little worried. Cut to the prison, where William Zabaka awaits with less than pleasant inmates. A police officer is just coming onto his shift, and my best guess is that this is Daryl, played by Keith Bolden. He scans the inmates and happens upon the Applebee's guy, referring to the Applebee's incident that happened before the series began. He's shocked, and he asks Johnny what's with him and crappy chain restaurants. And he further realizes that Johnny's son is the one that kicked Miguel off the railing. Trash doesn't fall far from the tree. Johnny doesn't seem to care much about what you say about him, but he gets defensive when Robbie's name is brought into it. Johnny says that Robbie is a good kid. He just made a mistake, and it shouldn't ruin his life. Since I've only covered this series once before, I haven't gotten a chance to say that William Zabaka is an underrated actor, and after watching him in this series, I really hope that he gets more dramatic roles. The officer says he's a fugitive, and Johnny's like, well, why aren't you out there looking for him? And in response to he made a mistake, it shouldn't ruin his life, the officer's like, tell that to the kid he killed. And Johnny's like, wait, what do you mean killed? Did something happen to Miguel? And the officer is like, I don't know, but usually when you're in a coma for 2 weeks, the coma wins. And I actually looked into this to see if this officer's statement has any legitimacy. And it actually depends. Comas are measured by the Glasgow Coma Scale from 3 to 15. 3 being the lowest score, and 15 basically being conscious. If you're a 3 in a 3-rated coma and you don't wake up after 24 hours, you have an 87% chance of basically dying. Your odds improve the higher your number on the scale. We have absolutely no idea of knowing where Miguel ranks on this scale, so the cop really can't make this statement with any kind of certainty. But then again, he's a cop, not a doctor. We cut to the first day of school. We see Bert go through the new metal detectors. Bert being played by Owen Morgan. He approaches Hawk, played by Jacob Bertrand, and Mitch, played by Aiden Minks. Both Bert and Mitch get fun bits of characterization throughout the season, more so than they were able to in Season 2. Hawk is stoked for the first day of school, take 2. Hawk tries to play it smooth with a couple of freshman girls, who quickly call him on both the bedwetting that was revealed to everybody, thanks to Dimitri, and the fact that he was kicked into the trophy case. His Cobra Kai cred is not as strong as it used to be. Dimitri's stock, who we see with Chris and Nathaniel, is on the rise. He's shocked that somebody knows he exists. Nathaniel is played by Nathaniel. They literally named the character the same name. Miyagi-Do soon finds himself face to face with Cobra Kai. What's funny is that every single person in this line is faced up with a former friend. It looks like it might be about to go down again, and then Counselor Blatt intervenes. Moon and Yasmin have a conversation. Yasmin was actually missing from last season's action. She's played by Annalisa Cochran. They explain Aisha's absence from the series. Her parents sent her to boarding school or private school after the big karate mole at the end of season 2. Aisha was played by Nicole Brown, and she literally has one credit to her name. Her absence, at least in my view, was felt. Daniel's daughter enters the scene through the metal detector, and it's clear she's having some issues. As soon as her hand touches the railing, she starts having flashbacks to last season's finale, and she ends up leaving the school. Cut to Daniel and Amanda at the dealership. Daniel's on the phone, trying to find Robbie. It seemed like in the finale that Daniel had written off Robbie, but here and throughout the season, he's trying to help him. He gets nowhere with whoever he's on the phone with, and then Louie appears. Louie is back? Louie was a character from the first season who ended up setting Johnny's car on fire, and as a result, he was fired. And I'm thinking, you guys hired this guy back? A second before Amanda herself questions that. Apparently in the aftermath of that, Louie was very loyal and was the only one checking up on them after the fight. Louie tells them that there's something on his computer that they need to see. As it turns out, the dealership is missing a car. A 1993 Dodge Caravan. Daniel comes to the conclusion that Robbie took it. And because they track all of their cars, Daniel thinks he can find Robbie. Cut to Johnny being dropped off at the hospital, where Miguel is. Thanks to a bail bondsman who tells him he better not miss a court appearance. Carmen, Miguel's mother, with her mother, is over Miguel's bedside, asking for Miguel to come back to them. We see Miguel in his head, battling death again, and the match doesn't seem to be going very well. Johnny approaches the information counter and says he's here to see Miguel. The nurse working the station tells him that only family can go in and see him. And Johnny tries to lay on the charm, but since he looks like he'd been through a meat grinder, that charm falls on deaf ears. Cut to Daniel trying to find Robbie, driving around, tracking the car. As it turns out, Robbie was smart enough to 86 the tracking device, and that is all he manages to find. After phoning his wife, she asked the question, is there anybody anywhere else nearby where he might have gone? And Daniel gets an idea. Cut back to Johnny, who's trying to pretend like he's a doctor. He's in the bathroom with a coat that he found in a stethoscope, and he's practicing in a mirror. Someone from a nearby stall comes out and says, "Oh, doctor!" And then when Johnny turns around, the guy realizes he's not a doctor. And Johnny realizes this isn't going to work. So instead, Johnny headbutts a paper towel dispenser, which gets his head cut enough for him to be admitted as a patient. There isn't a slightly less painful way you could have done that. I guess it's good you're using your head. Cut to Daniel going to Miyagi-Do, where instead of finding Robbie, he finds his daughter cutting school. Because going to school basically resulted in flashbacks. She's experiencing PTSD-like symptoms. I didn't especially care about Cobra Kai falling into my purview, but strangely enough, this season does, as it tackles the mental health impacts of what happened after the fight. Does it do it well? Perhaps, but I think it's solved a little too easily. Kind of like Miguel's problems, but we'll get there. Daniel says he gets it. He's been in plenty of fights in his time. But no, according to Samantha, he doesn't. Because he's a guy, and she's a girl. If you get into a fight, even if you win, you're not considered cool, you're considered crazy. And she starts to think about what Miguel and Robbie are going through. She says through tears that she feels guilty. Daniel tells her it's not her fault. All this started before she was even born. It goes back to the rivalry between Johnny and Daniel. And okay, look, I'm not taking either man off the hook for what happened last season. They are to a degree responsible for what occurred because of the rivalry. But in a lot of respects, John Kreese was behind the scenes fanning the flames and setting things up to get to the extremes that they did. Samantha said, "I thought we were the good guys." And Daniel responds, "We are. At least we try to be. And that's what's important." And I agree with that sentiment to a point, in that I don't think that Cobra Kai, specifically Johnny, is the bad guy in this situation. In fact, the point of this series was to give some shadings there, to not just see Johnny as the bully, but as the protagonist, as a flawed hero, much like Daniel is. So to some extent, he's oversimplifying here. And Daniel goes on to say that there is one thing he knows for sure: you can't run away from your problems. And Daniel says, "And I can't run away from mine." And Daniel gives his daughter a hug. Cut to Johnny finally having a successful ploy at getting in to see Miguel, as he essentially scares the nurses off with his condition. After showing his very, very bruised back, they tell him to wait there, and they take off. Johnny takes the moment to sneak off and see Miguel. Johnny enters the room and tells him that he's sorry he hasn't been in. But his mom doesn't want him around, and he doesn't really blame her. Carmen and him, who were very close to being a romantic couple last season, are pretty strange at this point, because she blames him for what happened to Miguel. Johnny, in a whisper and emotionally, says, "I thought I was helping you. You were learning so fast and getting so strong. But I failed you." He grabs Miguel's hand and holds it. We cut to inside Miguel's head, where he's again fighting his opponent, which is his fight to stay alive. And we hear Johnny say, "If you can hear me, kid, I know you have it in you to come through this. You just gotta keep fighting." And Miguel seemingly starts to winning the fight. "Never give up," Johnny says. "You can do this. I know you can." And that's the moment he's caught. He's told he can't be in there. Johnny says, "Yeah, I was just leaving." He takes one last look at Miguel and then takes off. Cut to Daniel, who's arrived at the Cobra Kai studio looking for Johnny. He sees a cutout of John Kreese, who he thought was banished from the dojo by Johnny, And he was, until Johnny Kreese stole the dojo back. And soon enough, he's shocked to see Kreese in the flesh. Kreese smiles somewhat evilly at Daniel and tells him that the studio is going through renovations. And Martin Kove is an absolute joy as John Kreese. I mean, his storyline this season is kind of ridiculous, especially in the finale. But I love the actor. It's fun to watch him work. And Martin Kove, who plays him, is completely the opposite of John Kreese. At least that's the impression I get through interviews and some clips I've seen of him. Daniel asks, "Where's Johnny?" And Kreese responds, "He's not here, but he'll be back." And that's a very hopeful statement by Kreese. Kreese starts to taunt him a little bit, saying it's a shame what happened at the school, but you know what they say, there are no bad students, implying that Daniel is a bad teacher. And plenty of people have made that very argument. Kreese says, "It must really hurt to see the Miyagi-Do name dragged through the mud. Wish I could see the look on the little bastard's face," referring to Mr. Miyagi, of course. The words are clearly getting to Daniel, and he points out that Mr. Miyagi kicked his ass more than a few times. And if I were monetized, this video would be for sure getting demonetized. But since I'm not there yet, I don't have to worry about that. And Daniel, much calmer I might add, says, "You're lucky he taught me real karate, because I'm not going to fight you." And Kreese says, "Oh, but you will. You will. It's inevitable. And this time, Johnny and I will finish it." Am I the only one who does Kreese's lines in Palpatine's voice? Or are you normal? And Kreese goes on to say, "They'll finish it once and for all." And Daniel says, "You're not going to do anything. Not while I'm around." Samantha makes a second attempt at going to school. She sees the people stickering, the girls, and she goes over to talk to them. She says, "Do you have anything to say? Huh? Say it to my face. I didn't think so." And then she triumphantly returns to school. We cut to Johnny returning home, and Daniel is seeking him out. And I'm actually rather surprised after that little visit to the studio, the dojo rather, that he even came here. That he didn't just go, "Oh, he's back with Kreese. Well, screw Johnny. I'm not gonna do this with him." And we haven't really even defined what that is yet, but we'll get there. So this is actually a moment of growth that Daniel didn't immediately dismiss Johnny just because he saw Kreese at the karate studio, like he would have done last season, more than likely. When he sees that Johnny looks less than stellar, Daniel asks him, "What the heck happened?" And Johnny responds, "I hit my head." "What do you even want?" Daniel tells him that he went by the old studio, dojo, sorry I keep saying that, and he wonders what the heck happened. How is Kreese back? And Johnny says it's a long story, and he needs some aspirin and some sleep, which is when Daniel gets into why he's there in the first place. He tells him that he has a lead on Robbie. "I've been trying to find him on my own, but I thought maybe you'd like to help." We see Robbie, who's in some place that looks like a place where homeless people go. He's got a new haircut. We hear Daniel's voice say, "Look, I don't want to be here any more than you. But I know that we both want Robbie to be safe. He's out there somewhere, and he doesn't have anyone to help him." We cut to Sam about to climb the railing to go up the stairs, the ones that led to Miguel's demise, or near demise, I should say. And we hear Daniel's voice say, "The whole reason these kids got into trouble is because of us. We can't let them suffer because of our issues." We cut to the Miguel, and there's a flurry of activity from doctors all around him. The only way to end this is by working together. So, what do you say? The triumphant karate music plays as we once again see Miguel fighting his opponent. He finally vanquishes his foe, and his eyes open. And that is the end of the episode. And we think, oh yeah, Daniel and Johnny are finally going to team up and take down Kreese. And they're going to be buddies throughout the season. Maybe not great buddies, but buddies nonetheless. Yeah, that's not quite how it works out, and we'll see why next time. But a fantastic season opener. We knew Miguel wasn't going to die because Cobra Kai is just not that dark of a series, and there was just no way that they were going to kill off one of their main stars. But nevertheless, it was great to see him wake up. And I'm jazzed for a kick-ass season. But that's all I had to say for this episode. If you like this video and enjoy my content in general, there's a number of ways that you can support my channel. You can join my Corman Productions Facebook group. You can follow me on Twitter at Core Productions. You can buy something from the Corman Productions store at Zazzle.com. And of course, you can like, share, comment on this video. Show me no mercy. Strike first, strike hard. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel. This is Dave from Corman Productions, signing off.